Okay. Thank you, everybody. Today we are gathered here to share about MILCity, and let me open the meeting. After I will give the floor to Professor Felipe. Then Dr. Agnes will take the floor. After Dr. Agnes, we will have Dr. Professor Auchevan, and Dr. Sadia, Dr. Imen, and Dr. Victor. So, let me introduce the moment. Um, Welcome everyone, and thank you so much for joining us for today's webinar, where we will explore artificial intelligence-driven city and their role in economic growth in the global south and low-income countries. As technologies continue to advance, cities are becoming important cities of opportunities, especially the emergence of MILCities helps to integrate major information and literacy. The incorporation of artificial intelligence into these cities has the potential to significantly enhance their capacity, contributing to inclusive prosperity and resilience. In many countries and areas of the global south, the focus is on not only access but on the empowerment and development. Artificial intelligence-driven cities has the potential to foster local innovation, address the digital divide, and create an ecosystem where ideas can develop. By using artificial intelligence to improve education, streamline governance, and support data-driven entrepreneurship, these urban centers can become potential demonstration of how advanced technologies can contribute to sustainable economic growth, job creation, social mobility. Today, we will revise case studies, examine framework that help artificial intelligence-driven cities success, and discuss partnership necessary in implement this vision. Whatever you are, an expert, an academic, a policymaker, technologist, urban planner, or community advocate, this discussion is relevant to you. Let's explore the future of urban development together, a future where artificial intelligence enabled cities serve as example of economic opportunity and transformative growth across the global south and beyond. You are welcome. And before I give the floor to the first speaker, I would like Professor Felipe to take the floor for his open word. Professor Felipe, you have the floor. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Emmanuel Comiconaco. Thank you so much to all panelists and this distinguished audience. Dear friends and colleagues, you are so much welcome to a special session entitled AI, Artificial Intelligence Driven MILCities, or Media and Information Literacy Cities, Catalyst for Economic Growth in the Global South. We got today excellent keynotes and panelists here. Thank you for your presence today and for sharing your knowledge with us. AI driving initiative can be catalyst for economic growth in the global south by addressing traditional development challenges and fostering innovation. Key sectors for AI and media literacy application are, in my opinion, agriculture. AI can help identify crop disease, predict yields, and optimize farming practice. Uh, Other sector, healthcare. AI can improve disease diagnosis, develop predictive models, and enhance patient care. Education. AI can identify at-risk students, new competence of media literacy and other points, of course. But we got to challenge to overcome barriers to overcome, like infrastructure, limited internet penetration, inadequate electricity access, and insufficient investments. We got to talent development, this other challenge. Governments needs to invest in local researchers, digital and media literacy, skill capacitation, policies in this line, and of course we got policy, the challenge of the policy and regulation, robust AI and media literacy policies and regulations are necessary to mitigate risk. Well, we got here the panelists and speakers. You got the floor. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Professor Felipe, for your introduction. Where we are going to give the floor to Dr. Agnès Francis Adolphine. Before I do it, let me introduce her. I don't know if you want to play yourself, the PowerPoint. I will give you the authorization. You can do it, or I will do it.
Do it, please, if you don't mind. It's just one slide. The third slide will be fine, if you don't mind. Thank you.
Okay, I will try to do it.
Perfect.
Yes. Is it good?
No, the third one. Go to advanced slide.
Okay. Something is continue. Okay. Okay. Okay.
Perfect.
Yes, let me 1 minute arrange things here. I don't know why. Okay. Yes, Dr. Agnès, let me. Yeah, Dr. Agnès Francis Adolphine is a doctor in education. She is a dynamic senior executive with over 30 years of leadership experience across United States of America and global markets. She brings deep expertise in technology, business, strategies, and organization transformation, especially in enterprise system, artificial intelligence, and emerging technology. A passionate scholar activist and learning evangelist, Agnes is known for building higher performing teams, leading change with agility, and monitoring future leaders. With a strong track record in telecom, digital transformation, and talent development, she is a sought-after speaker and full leader who brings strategies insight with a deeply woman-centered approach. Please join me in welcome Dr. Agnès Francis Adolphine. You have the floor, Doctor.
Professor Emmanuel, thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. And Professor Felipe, I appreciate the introduction as well of this overall webinar. I'm really delighted to be among all of my colleagues today, speaking about this very important discussion. Catalyst is the appropriate word to talk about where we are right now with this accelerated and no longer an emerging technology, but an idea whose time has come. And so what I'd like to do over the next 6 to 7 minutes is really just boil it down to the 3 C's, as I call it. What are some considerations that we should have in mind when we think about AI as a catalyst for driving monetization and economic prosperity in what we're calling the global South right now? So 3 considerations. What are some cautions? And I think Professor Felipe alluded to some of those, and we will touch on 2. And then finally, what is the immediate call to action that perhaps the global South need to pay a little bit more attention to so that we can leapfrog into where we need to be? So firstly, considerations. When we think about AI-driven media information literary cities, we need to think about frameworks that foster not only collaboration, but the ability to create something that we can actually scale and sell and monetize throughout the globe. At the moment, there's a gap between a lot of the large language models and consideration around the cultural nuances of many of the developing countries or countries that have limited economic resources. When you think about things such as linguistic diversity, you're hearing it when you listen to me, and my colleagues will probably have their own variation. Some of these models do not account for that. They do not account for colloquialisms. They do not account for particular heritage and cultural nuances. And so creating models that we can actually integrate and actually market more broadly around the developed world, I think could be phenomenal from a considerations perspective. When we think about media information literacy as well, we should also think not just about the technology, but especially about the people. And of course, processes has a role to play. So from a people perspective, we know that education needs to be transformed in order to create brokers and translators, not only for the cultural nuances of each country and the region, but also to be sort of that bilingual or trilingual representatives and those cautious participants around the ethical considerations as well when we invite others to provide solutions or to provide roadmaps for where we take our AI from an economic growth perspective. And then lastly, this is something that Professor Felipe said. He talked about the infrastructure and the challenges around that in some of these countries in the global south. I'm originally from Antigua and Barbuda, and I still have extended moments of lack of electricity because of the load on the system and the legacy solutions and technology that are in place. So it is important to identify that not everything that is presented is right for the global south, right? We have to really have participants and brokers at the table who understand the variances and are able to really negotiate sustainable and scalable solutions. And when we talk about sustainable and scalable solutions, we're not just talking about making them larger. What we are talking about is identifying, even for example, in a country like Barbuda that has 1,600 people from a population standpoint, identifying that it may not be appropriate to establish ubiquitous AI solution and access across the entire country, only 10% of which is populated, but to have a really concentrated capability in the city of Codrington, for example, where people might go in and meet virtually or collectively as a think tank. Two cautions as we move on. Cautions around co-creating instead of being consumers. At the moment, one of the things that has been both a blessing and a caution is the accessibility to cellular phones and handheld devices. They are everywhere and have opened the opportunities for the diaspora and low economic countries to have access. But what we're seeing is really a lot of consumption of information and experimentation with ChatGPT and other AI platforms. What we're not seeing is the curiosity and the desire and even perhaps the knowledge of how these can be used to create and co-create solutions with the intellectual property being held within those countries and those people who create it. So I think it's very important for us to raise the alarm and talk about how important it is for the IP offices, intellectual property offices around the region in the global south to think about how to create policies that allows for co-creation and ownership so that ultimately economic benefit can be garnered. And another caution is, again, going back to Professor Felipe, he talked about the infrastructure. And when we think about, again, electrical power, not only the sustainability of the power that we have, but what does it mean to be running your own models on premises in the region and the drain on the existing power constraint. What does it mean environmentally when we decide to scale up in such a way where we're thinking what works in the United States or the United Kingdom can be lifted and shifted instead of modified and adapted for the limited resources that are available? And that goes back to why it's so important for collaboration to be the approach to this, given the GDP of individual countries, the population size, as well as the infrastructure constraints. And so I will end with this call to action, which I think is the sweet spot when we talk about economic growth in the global south. It has to be about accelerating and going back to the drawing board on our data strategy. I don't know about you, and I'm very intrigued to hear from my colleagues who will be speaking shortly. But I know in the Caribbean and in some of the smaller developing nations, some of the ways that we do business are still very paper-based. They're not digitized. There's no centralized location for data. And that is really, when we think about content being sort of the king of television and access, data is the king, the queen, and everything else of AI. Without a proper data strategy, not only the data strategy, a roadmap on how it's going to be used, and then an execution strategy, then it is almost virtually impossible to monetize and to have sustainable economic growth. So I think we have an opportunity to tighten up on our data strategy and leapfrog into road mapping how we're going to be more intentional, whether it's agriculture, whether it's testing the oceans, for example, for what type of life exists and what is the state of that by using sensors, etc. When it's looking at other aspects of our development in healthcare, it is important that we tighten up on that data strategy and make it both reliable as well as flexible in order to meet our future needs. And so I'd like to thank you again for the opportunity and just remind you of these 3 considerations, 2 cautions, and the call to action.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Agnes, for your sharing. It was very, very exciting to hear you. And I will give the floor to Professor Felipe for his comment.
Thank you so much, my friend. Thank you so much to all you, of course, the Professor Agnes. Thank you for your knowledge and share your expertise with us. I like your organization of this presentation, considerations, cautions, and especially I like to call to action. We need action. We need, of course, theories. We need a new research about this point, but we need to action, immediately action, of course, to strategic action, but we need action. Your questions, you put some questions, very important questions, with open questions, with open answers too. Thank you so much again for your knowledge, for your presentation, and your vision of this important challenge. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much, Professor Felipe, for your comment. Exactly. As you have said, I have one note from Dr. Agnes. She has said, instead of consume, you need to co-create and monetize our data. It is very important for us today to co-create our information and communication tools. So people from Africa, from everywhere, can be a part of this change. Thank you so much. Yes. Yeah. So we are going to give the floor to the next panelist, Dr. Aushivan Shiram. Before I give him the floor, let me introduce him. Yeah. We are honored to welcome Professor Aushivan Shriram from India. He is a distinguished academic leader and major scholar to today's webinar. He served as professor and head of the Department of Media Science at Anna University, Chennai, one of the India's premier institutions of higher learning. In addition, he leads the Educational Multimedia Research Center at the university where he oversees innovative work in educational broadcasting and media technology. Professor Aushvan is widely recognized for his contribution to the field of communication, media education, and digital learning. With a strong academic and research background, he has published extensively, more motorate emerging scholars, and played a pivotal role in shaping media education in policy in India. His leadership brings academic rigor with practical impact, making him a full leader in the evolving landscape of media and education in the world. Let me introduce or give the floor to Professor Felipe Arishivan Siram. You have the floor.
Good evening to all.
Yeah. Okay. Yes.
I'm having little
Uh,
more
if
slides. Huh?
yeah, if
I will manage the timing anyway.
speak and
That
develop.
as you suggested, I put the title. This media AI-driven media and information literacy cities. Now the need of the hour. Very few cities they are trying to adapt all these AI-driven MIL cities in the few cities in the country. Uh, Maybe we can count maybe in a single or double digits, not beyond that. I hope you already know what is MIL city, what are the components are available. Anyway, I want to add a few points regarding to the artificial intelligence can revolutionize the MIL cities by enhancing the information access by all the people who are staying, whoever coming and going to the city, then they can easily get a very good personalized learning experience. Then it will support the smart governance of the city governance system and also driving sustainable economic growth without meeting anyone, any group. How this AI-driven ML cities spark the economic growth? Because now it is we are mostly concentrating on economic also. Because without economics, the sustainability will be very less. That's why many efforts, many initiatives in the world, they are after few years, they are coming down, they are closed down. It is not, they are not able to continue for a long time. So sustainability is very important. In this AI-driven cities, the innovation ecosystem is very important aspect. So citizens are empowered with AI and media and information literacy. These things are very important for the ecosystem. It fosters a culture of innovation, creativity, and problem solving. It will attract tech companies, technological companies, startups, and research hubs. It encourages cross-sector collaborations between academic, industry, as well as government. Normally, the industry academics they are doing a lot of collaboration. They are omitting the governments. But this system they are adding government also. So the smart workforce development also another aspect. AI integrated education produces a highly skilled workforce. It will give continuous upskilling and reskilling in AI, data, and media literacy, because the not only learning the skill is important, it should be updated frequently, regularly. It increases the employability and adaptability to emerging industry. It is also another aspect is informed entrepreneurship. The entrepreneurs leverage AI tools and media literacy for market analysis. The market includes all the segments. Market includes all the segments, people, various sector of the people, various businesses, government, other agencies. So the improved business models through data-driven insights is one of the key component, encouraging the development of local AI-based businesses. Nowadays, each and every small local applications are coming, applications for many purpose. Not only the marketing, we are also making AI-based applications for networking, local network, neighbors networks, neighborhood networks, many other aspects. So the efficient governance is also another aspect. Data-driven policies improve public services and infrastructure. Smart city management reduces the cost and increases the efficiency. Once the network is created, all the data are integrated, the cost will be reduced. Until that, we are putting very good investment, but after that, the recurring expenditure will be reduced. So it increases the efficiency. Transparent governance builds trust and investor confidence. So this AI-driven MIL small cities can give the transparent governance. Nowadays, everyone is looking that only, because many governments they are not 100% transparent. Even though they are saying they are transparent, it is not 100%. But this MIL cities based on AI driven will leads the very good transparency in the governance. Then attraction of the investment. AI literate population appeals to global investors. So the stable and transparent and innovative environments attracts foreign direct investments for the other countries. Venture capital flows into AI startups and tech sectors. Then finally, the digital inclusion and social equity will happen. It is very, very important in the technology development. It's not only the market, it's not only for the business and economics. It should include everyone. So inclusive access to AI and MIL reduce the digital divide, broader participation in economic activities, supports social mobility, reduces inequality in the names of gender, rich and poor, or digital divide, many other aspects, stimulating broader economic participation also. So in India, nowadays, our governments and industry, they are also focusing on this smart city mission. In that, India smart city mission is more than just upgrading infrastructure. It's about making cities livable and intelligent. For that, they are adding AI component. It is already helping with predictive maintenance, smarter waste management, and real-time surveillance, also ensuring cities are clean, safe, efficient, and secure. India in focus from vision to reality. They are concentrating on smart mobility, smart people, smart economy, smart environment, smart governance, and smart living. Earlier, we used that smart city component, but now it is MIL city. But in many countries, many cities, we are not using the term MIL cities. But in the term of smart cities, they are following the advanced AI components. So in India, the Digital India, we are upgrading the Digital India promotion services like automatic grievances redressal, telemedicine opportunities, AI chatbots are making government more responsive and accessible. So it is importantly, AI is now part of the digital literacy program, ensuring even rural communities and first-time users get the support they need to thrive in a digital world. Also, I am giving two case studies. Bangalore is one of the important city in India. It's a IT city, Silicon Valley. We are calling it Silicon Valley also. Bangalore is leading the charge with AI-based traffic system now that reduces the gridlock and pollution. It is also home to the healthcare technology that speeds up diagnosis and treatment. And AI incubators were startups with the next wave of solutions. So this AI is giving help from the traffic problem to many other healthcare, economic growth, many other things. In Chennai, I am from Chennai. Chennai is another city. It's one of the leading economical capital. Chennai is using AI to listen to its people with the AI-powered citizen feedback platforms, real-time pollution monitoring, and disaster responsive system for floods and cyclones. It is setting an example in proactive governance and resilience for the people. So this AI-driven MILCities, why it is better? It boosting the economy, it empowering the citizens, driving the sustainable development for a long term, fostering a culture for innovation, creativity, and problem solving. But sometimes this project, this initiative is also having a lot of challenges and opportunities. The challenge is bridging the digital divide. Even in many even many developed countries and developing countries, they are having a lot of digital divide challenges. Safeguarding the privacy, it is very, very important area. We are discussing in many forums and platforms. Then building human capacity for accessibility, acceptability of the AI integrated systems, making AI fair and ethical use for all the people. It should not be violated for the safety and security purposes. Then shaping the future together with the technology, AI-powered traffic optimization, IoT-enabled smart energy grids, AI-enhanced safety systems are available nowadays. IoT for efficient waste management as well as now we are using water management also, and so many other things we are using it. These are the things will certainly help us make a better AI-driven smart cities, MILCities. Certainly, it will revolutionize the world, the countries, the society, and the people in various aspects. So it will create a best society in the world. We can try to improve the concept, adaptability, and various other components for the inclusive growth also. Okay, there are some future directions. Collaboration between the government, academia, industry, and citizens forums will be crucial. We have to bring them all. AI solution must reflect the country's rich cultural and linguistic diversity. I am speaking about Indian context. Sharing ideas across the border will help us develop responsible global frameworks. And most importantly, these cities must keep evolving, guided by people's needs, feedback, and dreams. Together, let's reimagine our cities, not just as places we live, but as space helps us grow, learn, and thrive for the future. As Agnes said, we need to integrate many other things for the responsible development. So these are my points. I hope it will be useful for our discussion. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Professor Arshivan, for your exciting presentation. Yeah, you have one question. How artificial intelligence-driven MILCities as economic growth in our countries. And you have highlighted many points. First, you have said in your communication that artificial intelligence can revolutionize MILCities by doing many things, such as um, uh, doing information entrepreneurship, encourage the development of a local business, transforming governments, and to be efficient, we need to be transparent. Government must be transparent and build a sort of trust for investors. And you have also highlighted a case of studies in your country, where you have shared with us that in your country, there are many projects such as Smart Cities mission, making cities liable, Indian focus from vision to reality to promote ethical information for everyone. You have also shared us that in China, for example, Chinese has a project to listen people and give them feedback. So it is very important for us to hear this information. And I will give the floor to Professor Felipe to contribute or to comment your communication before we continue. Thank you so much for sharing this idea first today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Professor Emmanuel Comey. Thank you so much, Professor Arul Shaban. Congratulations for your presentation. We got some highlights here. No? For example, I like so much your definition of MILCities. Cities create information with responsibility. Very, very important this point to define MILCities. And of course, you speak about innovation ecosystems, the smart workforce for development, and the attraction of the investment. These benefits is very important because with new education, new capacitation, we got the possibility of the attraction of investment. This is very important for our countries, for all of our countries. Digital inclusion is a very important highlight too, and how AI can help to development specific in the India, the challenge, the case study or the case study in the India with a multicultural country with different ethnics. This point is very very challenge too. Challenge too. In my opinion, these questions and the answers of these questions is to reach, is very open to very different angles and different reflections. But your line of your logical line is I feel very very impressive for your logical line. Thank you so much, Professor.
Thank you. Thank you, Philip.
Thank you so much, Professor Felipe. Thank you, Professor Arushvan, for your contribution. It is very, very exciting. Yes, we are going to give the floor to Dr. Sadia Jamila from China. But before, let me introduce her. We are delighted to welcome you, Dr. Sadia Jamila, an accomplished scholar and international voice in media and communication studies. She currently serves as the director of research at the School of International Communication at the University of Nottingham, Ningbo in China. Dr. Jamila's research focuses on media freedom, journalism ethics, digital rights, and the intersection of technology and communication. Her work is widely published and has contributed to global conversation on press freedom, data privacy, and media literacy, particularly in the global south. With her international academic experience and the strong advocacy for ethical and inclusive media practice, Dr. Jamila brings a unique and deeply informal perspective to today's discussion. Please join me in warmly welcome Dr. Jamila. You have the floor.
Thank you, Professor Emmanuel and Professor Felipe, for inviting me today. And it's again a pleasure to rejoin you after a long time, I would say. And I was delighted to hear Dr. Agnes and Professor Arul. And I took some of the insights from your presentation that I will be reflecting back in my speech today. When I think about smart cities, it is something such an ideal notion that we all would like to live in. Nobody would like to say, oh, I'm not happy to live in a smart city. So this is like a future ideal for every one of us. But when we think about the global south, I would say the equilibrium between challenges and opportunities or prospect is not really balanced, unfortunately, because of the challenges that we are encountering in the countries of the global south. When you think about the use of artificial intelligence, this is tremendously significant to make smart cities smarter where it has already been successfully employed. But when we think about the low-income countries and developing nations of the global south, we need to have a 3D approach. So I'm moving Dr. Agnes from 3C's approach to 3D approach. And if we can roughly put that in framework, we need to think about the digital infrastructure, we need to think about the digital insights, and we need to think about digital governance in the countries of the global south. Are they really facilitating? Are they really resourceful? Are they really capable to facilitate the establishment of the smart cities at the first place and to apply AI technology being very inclusive to their entire populations within each cultural context? When we think about digital infrastructure, connectivity is the key word. Access, connectivity, and definitely artificial intelligence has a significant role to improve and facilitate that access and connectivity and to ensure data-driven decision-making, because AI is all focused on data. So our decision-making will be more informed through AI-empowered digital infrastructure. That's really an ideal situation that should happen. But if we go back to the situation of many of the examples we have in the countries of the global south, I will go back, for example, to the case of Pakistan. When we think about digital infrastructure, we can see there are certainly improvements, but I would not say it's an ideal situation because of the pervasiveness of digital divide. And we see that the country, and like many other countries like Pakistan, they are embracing the challenge of access issues, digital skills issues, and then there's a third level of digital divide where people are not really literate enough to make benefit of digital access and digital skills. So we see that even if we have some improvements in ICT infrastructure and digital infrastructure, we have improved connectivity, is still countries, for example, like Pakistan, they struggle with the issue of digital infrastructure and to really make use of that connectivity. That's the first thing. And then we think about digital insights. That's very important when it comes about information sharing. What channels do we have available for access to the information and then exchange of that information? If we are just consumer and we envisage that we have to co-create the information, what are the barriers in that digital information ecosystem. And we see that, for example, I would not compare exactly the situation of Pakistan with India. Why? Because we have some of the very unique laws and regulatory systems which are a little different than India. Though both countries, they share a colonial past, but for example, Pakistan is an Islamic country. When we think about the regulatory environment back to Pakistan and we see the information ecosystem, we see there are barriers to information, not just because it is threatening to the government or any intelligence system, but we have some laws that are not very culturally relevant, I would say. So we have a restriction to freedom of expression. We have restriction in terms of the religious speech, and which people respect in terms of the cultural sensitivity and religious sensitivity. But we have to think if any universal model of smart cities can be applicable when we have so much contextual and cultural limitations. So that digital information ecosystem compromises if we move from one context to another. That is one thing. So we need to see the regulatory environment in which we are envisaging the prospects for smart city and MIL implementation. And then when we come about digital governance, I would say that our research shows that there are literally some improvements in Pakistan, for example, when it's come to digital governance, because the government has really invested huge budget to digitalize infrastructure and information system. They are using AI for something. For example, now the government services are using chatbots to improve services for the citizens, which I would say is like a baby step. They are still experimenting with how AI technology can be used and facilitated within their resources, I would say limited resources. So it's not a bad news, I would say. It's really a good improvement. But when we think about digital governance, we need to think about the mindset of who exactly is governing digitally. We need a sort of a stability, because you need to see that the governance has to have some stability for implementation, so that the policies are being implemented in a full row, so that there is no disruption. So I would say this 3D approach has challenges as well as opportunities: digital infrastructure, digital insight, which is linked to the digital information ecosystem, and of course, digital governance. They are all interconnected. They have different challenges as well as they offer different kind of opportunities for the nations, low-income countries like Pakistan, to have some improvements. What I see in terms of the future directions is about the considerations of the policy. Where exactly low-income countries within their existing capabilities would like to go, and where are the gaps and how these gaps are being filled. So I am running a research project right now, which is a policy-driven research project, and that highlights about digital infrastructure, digital governance, and digital ecosystem, and how we position artificial intelligence, and how do we envisage such nations in next 5 years, for example. What will be our AI policy? What will be the utility? And how we are going to ensure that all these steps and measures are inclusive. Why I say we have to emphasize inclusivity, because in multicultural societies, Pakistan is a multicultural country, India is a multicultural country, there are a lot of chances for marginalization of communities. They are not really inclusive. So we have to see in all this ideal picture, when we are dealing with multifaceted challenges, are we really inclusive? Are we hearing all the voices? That is another important aspects of all digitalization and thinking towards AI implementation within the context of low-income countries. I would say that there might be cultural differences or regulatory differences among the countries of the global south, but there are some basic commonalities, I would say, that is all about access, skills, and usage and the benefits. These are the common threads that all the countries in the global south share, regardless of the culture, regardless of the context, and regardless of the regulatory environment within which they operate. And when it comes to AI ethics, for example, again, we have to be very contextual and cultural sensitive, because ethics is envisaged differently. For example, I was working 2 years back, I was working on a research project. How do we envisage ethics in an Islamic country? In a non-Islamic context, for example. And it is again linked to the question of freedom of expression, freedom to information, because as we transit from a traditional sphere to a digital sphere, these issues, they automatically transfer into our practices in the digital world. So we need to think about contextual, cultural, and regulatory issues when we have to think about the implementation of a smart city framework. Now, I will wrap off with this thought that UNESCO has a universal global MIL framework. They have a framework for the development of smart cities, and I would say which is really adaptable. Each country, considering their own issues and challenges, they can definitely adapt. So I would say the notion of a smart city, the global understanding of a smart city would not really change. Rather, it will adapt as we go in different cases of the world, particularly in the global south. With that, I'm grateful again to Emmanuel, Felipe, and to both of our speakers who have already presented, Professor Arul and Dr. Agnes. And I'm going to hear 2 more presentations. So thank you, everyone.
Hey, thank you, Dr. Sadia Jamila, for your brilliant communication. It was very strong. I will let Professor Felipe comment. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Professor Emmanuel Comiconacol. Thank you so much, Dr. Sadia Jamel, for your presentation and your knowledge. Like ever, your presentation are very, very strong and very, very inquiring. It's encourage to new things and new visions. We got here some highlights. For example, you talk about the religious schedule. It's very important this point. We need to other literacy in the respect to difference, to respect the different visions and different philosophies of the life. This point is very important because this is ethics and the peace. We need more peace in every country and in the continents and in the every world. The peace, the base of the peace is the respect to the difference. And we need to talk about this. We need to talk about the how respect the different cultures in multicultural countries like Pakistan, like India, like China, like Brazil, for example, too. We need this dialogue for this. You got you bring to us many insights, but in my opinion, this is the principal line. Thank you so much, Professor Sadia Jamil, and we grow together. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Professor Felipe, for your comment. We are very happy to hear them today. Strong communication, instructive communication, and we are happy to work together with you. Yeah, the next speaker comes from Tunisia, Dr. Imen Touati. Before I give her the floor, let me present Dr. Touati. And we welcome also Dr. Victor, who joins us. You are welcome. Thank you. Yes. Yeah, we are pleased today to welcome Dr. Imen Touati, Assistant Professor of Marketing at the University of Tunis, Carthage. Dr. Touati holds a PhD in marketing with research expertise in advertising, literacy, and parental mediation in enabled advertising. She is actively engaged in applied research currently working on business case studies in partnership with Carter Publishing. Dr. Twati also coordinates the conference and lecture module fostering dialogue between academia and industry. And she is a strong advocate and innovative teaching method using simulation tools, including business game certification. A dedicated academic leader, she served as an active member and treasurer of the Tunisian Marketing Association. Dr. Iman, you have the floor. I don't know if you want to share yourself the screen. Yeah, you have that. Right. Thank you so much.
So thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you all. I would like to thank all of you for all your presentations and these valuable informations. So I will share my presentation. Sorry, just. So can you see the presentation? It's fine. Okay, thank you. So today I will talk about communities, empowering communities through the driven MILCities, a perspective from Tunisia. So today I will talk about my country, Tunisia. So before I will put you in the context of into the Tunisian context. So like many other countries in Africa, we are navigating like a complex digital transition. So while digital access is growing, disparities also are persistent, especially between the urban and the rural areas. So later we will talk about these disparities. So before all of this, I want to show you the map of Tunisia. So if somebody doesn't know exactly where Tunisia is, it's a North African country. So we are situated in the south of Europe, and we are in the Mediterranean Sea. We are a small country, so young Tunisian young people here in Tunisia show a strong potential for innovation. So that's why if you have ever met a Tunisian anywhere, you will find a very successful person, because we are a small country, but we have like we give very important great importance to education. And Tunisian loves all the language, so we are open to all the culture. So, but we face limited access to AI tools, to digital education, and to the local content, some local contents. So the Tunisian universities, school, NGOs, and other communities leaders are leading small-scale local efforts to improve our digital skills, our media literacy, and the AI awareness, especially where government support or infrastructure can be limited. So I will give you some like news from what is happening actually in Tunisia. We held our official national consensus, which is conducted by the National Institute of Statistics, which is carried out every 10 years. So the data collection was made like from October to December 2024, and the results was published last month. And it showed a very huge internet access of the Tunisian, of our population, which is 85%. So 85% of the population are connected to internet. And other number is also very interesting, which is the main devices used which are 77%, which means like most of Tunisians are using smartphones to be connected. So I think this is a very important number. But the full data will be expected to be published by September 2024. So maybe we will see other statistics which explain better some behavior. So another issue which is very important now, which is the baccalaureate results. So we have the baccalaureate result in June 2024, so this month, which is the main session of our Tunisian's National Baccalaureate exam. This reveals very important disparities. So our national success rate is 40%, but the gap between the best and the worst performing delegation reached 31%. So here we have a gap between the coastal regions and the inland cities. So the baccalaureate results reflect a deep educational divide between the coastal and the inland cities, where students in the interior regions are facing or enduring structural and socioeconomic disadvantages. And when we talk about disadvantages here, we talk mostly about infrastructure, about access to a good quality of life and a good quality of education. And even the access to the school can be sometimes difficult for some students. So this is why this number explains other things. So something else that I want to speak about here is the role of families and the parental mediation. So because actually I work mostly about on children, so I may notice that the parental mediation is very important when we talk about media literacy. So it's crucial because parents as mediators shows that they are aware of the media strategies and AI-based personalization, and they are better equipped and to help their children to critically interpret the content. So if we improve the media literacy of the parents, we may improve the media literacy of the children. Another thing which is very important, in many of low-income Tunisian households, parental awareness is limited due to the lack of digital literacy. So making children more vulnerable to misinformation and manipulation. So again, the parenting is very important. So if we have a very critical thinker parents, so we may raise a better generation in the future. So an AI-driven MILCity must therefore, in the Tunisian case, not only target schools and institutions, but also engage parents through communities, workshops, maybe mobile literacy apps. As in Tunisia, the access to mobile is has high rates. A collaborative family schools program, maybe collaboration between the family and the schools. So in my opinion, the MILCities are not just about technology, but also they are about building informed household. So we should begin by the household. Sorry. So, okay. So if we will talk now about the progress in digitalization, we can find sometimes significant barriers, which are unequal access to high-speed internet, especially outside the major cities, low AI literacy among youth and adults, especially adults, and limited integration of AI tools for education. Because in Tunisia, we have a negative perception of AI especially in education. And educators are not allowing, and they do not allow students to have access to AI. So we need to have a better integration of the AI tools in the education. So we can have also some promising entry points when we talk about MIL, smart cities. So strong universities, networks, and collaboration between private and sector school sectors may be important, because in Tunisia we have a rise of the private universities, the private school. So this can enhance maybe education, but not the public sector one. So we see like this disparity between the private sector and the public sector. So platforms that translate critical information into local dialects and formats. I saw we were talking about multicultural countries, especially when you were talking about India. Tunisia also can be multicultural, and we can have sometimes in some regions different dialects. So platforms that translate critical information to local dialects and formats can also be a very good entry point. Another point, which is very important, is the role that can be played by industries and companies to help to rise the education, the media literacy. So we have the Connect, which is Confédération des entreprises citoyennes de Tunisie. So they play a role by mentoring youth and young women to lead startups in applying AI for social or economic purpose, and serve as a bridge between the private sector and educational institutions in smart city. So the role of the Connect can be very important to make a kind of bridge between businesses and schools. So to conclude, the AI-driven MILCities can help us to reimagine our development from the bottom up, starting with the empowerment families, connected schools, and locally inspired entrepreneurs. So for me, the key points is schools, especially first parents, schools, and also entrepreneurs and companies. So we don't have to rely only on governments. So in Tunisia, the success of this kind of cities, the smart cities, will depend on how we will integrate the AI with our social values, educational efforts, and our families' structures. So thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Imen Touati, for your communication. Yeah, we are happy to hear you. You have given us an overview of what is going in your country. And you have instead in many points, and I highlight that in your country today, digitalization is progressing, and we need to do more. We have present the opportunities and challenges. And today we know that in our countries, especially in Africa, artificial intelligence is not well known or well accepted, because we think that it is very bad for our growth and for our children. And you have highlighted that parents must play a key role in this implementation. Yes. And to finish, you have summarized that there are three key: parents, school, and entrepreneurs must be the key to implement am I in our countries, especially in your country. Thank you so much for sharing these ideas with us. Before I give the floor to Professor Victor, I will let Professor Felipe to comment. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. In this presentation, I see many highlights, but I like so much your vision about the young people and women presence in this with this potential of Tunisia, of course, for innovation, and you talk about the different statistics and numbers. Very important highlights brings to us with these numbers. The role of the family, the collaboration between universities and other sectors of the society, the role of course, the public and private sectors together. I like in this vision and the role of the universities, very important in this framework. Thank you so much for your presence, for your highlights, and for your knowledge.
Thank you, Professor Felipe, for
Thank
your
you so
comment.
much.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, now we have our last speaker, Professor Victor Toume. You are welcome. Yeah, before I'll give him the floor, let me introduce him. Professor Victor Toume is an expert of the European Council of the European Commission, professor at the Autonomy University of Lisbon, visiting researcher at the EXIT, University Institute of Lisbon, teacher trainer of trained and day labor. Currents involved in international research project focus on digital citizenship, education, media literacy, artificial intelligence literacy, and misinformation, funded by various institutions such as the European Council, the Kellust Good Banking Foundation, and European Commission. He has PhD in media education from the University of Lisbon and postdoc in communication science at the University of Algreve, Paris, and Catholic University of Milan. Please join me to giving a warm welcome to Professor Dr. Victor. You have the floor.
Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for this opportunity and for inviting me. It's a great pleasure sharing some of our work in research with you. Actually, it's very interesting because you explained all the previous my previous the colleagues that presented previously. They explained all the main context, which is easier to me to explain my project, especially after Dr. Iman Tuati, because even if now I'm in Brussels, because today is the presentation of the results of the Digital Education Action Plan at European level. I work in Portugal, and actually I'm going to present a project that we are developing in Cape Verde. It's a project that we started 4 years ago, but we can say that it's always starting because we will still in Africa. Okay, let me just share with you my screen with you, and I apologize for some noise that you may hear, but I cannot change this because the session is closing and everyone is going to the train station. So I apologize for this. Okay. So my idea is to present the work that we are developing in Cape Verde. We started this work in Cape Verde, and as Dr. Riemann did, I also would like to explain where Cape Verde is. We're still in Africa now, this side of Africa, between Africa and Latin America, but more close to Africa, of course. And this is Cape Verde, and our project, we are developing this project here in Mayo Island, which is one of the poorest islands in Cape Verde. So the country has 500,000 inhabitants, and Mayo Island has 7,500 inhabitants. So, for instance, for our colleagues in India, China, or Brazil, that's really nothing, but it's the reality that we are working with. So the Mayo Island has its capital is the Porto English city, and it's an area of low resource environment, the global south, if you want. So this work is being developed in partnership. It's a pro bono work with the NGO for the development called Magnalingue, and a municipality in Portugal that has a twinning agreement with Porto Inglês in Cape Verde. Okay, we also involved, as Dr. Eman explained, and my previous colleagues also explained, we also involved the municipality, the Mayo municipality in Cape Verde, the school, the secondary school, and all the primary schools in the island, and some persons, some people from the civil society, mainly retired teachers, the law, the people that work in environment at the environmental level, at the government level. Okay, so what we started having in mind, we have to learn from them first. And when we learn from them, we had some ideas because we are developing 3 projects. One is focused on digital citizenship education. A second one, and is funded by the Council of Europe. The Council of Europe is more or less the United Nations of Europe. It's an institution that joins 46 countries, including the 27 that are part of the European Commission. Then we have another project that is focused on media information literacy and AI literacy, algorithm literacy. We are developing this project in 4 countries, and our idea was to share results with Cape Verde and trying to understand what can be used, what can be helpful and adapted to the Cape Verde reality, the Mayo Island reality. Because, as you know better than me, media information literacy, it's really context-based, and MILCities, it's really context-based too. And we are also working on tackling disinformation. So we joined the 3 projects. This Tackling Disinformation project is a project funded by the European Commission, and that involves all the 27 countries, but we are working specifically in Portugal and Spain. So our idea was, okay, we have this. Now let's talk with them in Cape Verde and try to understand how can we learn from them and develop something new with them, the municipality, the school, the teachers, the students, and others. So, so far, we trained 150 teachers. It's interesting because some results that we have so far show that they are really, really interested in the training. They ask us for more training. So the trainings are in person every year in May or in September, but we also share some insights with them online, okay? We use pre-tests and post-tests, and that's why we have some insights about the results of the work that we have been developing. In terms of projects, we have a problem because we have a significant challenge. We can say that it's the limited capacity for project implementation, monitoring, and impact evaluation with classrooms. Okay, this is a huge problem that we have, and we are trying to work with them and to train them and to learn from them in order to find a way to start doing it in a proper way. And the key insight, we can say that it's difficult. We have a need, and this needed. We need sustained support beyond initial training. Okay, and it's difficult because it's far away. So we are trying to train some key persons in the island that then can, in a sustainable way, support other teachers, other people in the island. Okay, this is what we have done so far. So we are working also with people from the civil society. Here they were organizing a trial in the island, And we can say that what are we trying to develop with them regarding media information literacy cities, MILCities. For now, we are trying to define digital inclusion and capacity building. It's the most important activity that we have developed so far. The teacher training empowers trainings, but we also try to work with students. Okay, the idea is to enhance foundational media and information literacy. Then the community empowerment and localized government. We are collaborating with different institutions, as I told you before, NGOs, the mayor municipality, and other to grassroots empowerment and locally driven initiatives. And this is possible now. Now we can say that in the Iceland, they trust us. We are part of the family. And I think this is the starting point that allows us to do something uh, adapted to the context and with them that is really interesting for them. That is that they need it and they wanted it. At the third level, it's a critical engagement with AI and disinformation because it's a main topic, as you know, and as you explained before. And we are really trying to train teachers so the teachers can train students and we can involve families. This year, for instance, we organized a teacher training, but also a public session at the municipality. Some young people attended, some other persons attended. This is the way that some parents attended. This is the way. But at the same time, it's something that we want to start. Okay, and finally, finally, we can say that we are trying to um, promote economic growth indirectly, of course, and some address global south challenges. The next steps, and to conclude, we are trying to scaling up what works and what works tackling this information. They are really keen to, and they are dealing with this information on a regular basis, the teachers, the parents, and the students and the young people. So we are trying to involve K-12 in a network that we are creating that is called iVerify Mundus, and that joins all the countries that that have the Portuguese speaking language as the official language. Okay. Then we are also trying to strengthen implementation, as I told you before, and now the main topic is to deepening AI literacy because AI literacy is important. But maybe they are aware of AI. When I say they, it's in general, society, the teachers, politicians, the students, parents, and others, but they are not really aware of how can we use AI, especially in an ethical way. And this was my presentation. I do apologize for the noise, but it was not possible to do it differently. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much, Professor Victor Toume, for your communication. Yeah, you have learned us many things about your project entitled A Small Land Development State, especially in Africa. Why do you have chosen Africa for this project? Thank you so much. You have highlighted many things as a result of your field action, equipping citizens with core foundation. We have also done many work towards teachers bringing the gap with MILCities, developing digital inclusion, give people, teachers, public citizens, how they can mastering or use technology. And I have highlighted that your next step is to scaling, continue work with people, with teachers, and deepen eye literacy in Africa, especially in small countries. Yes. Before I give the floor to everybody to react, I will let Professor Felipe to comment and add his thoughts.
Thank you so much. Congratulations, Professor Victor Tomé, for your practical work in Africa, because we need, of course, theories. We need some and different frameworks, reflections, but we need to action, practice action. And congratulations for this. Of course, your work brings to us different highlights, like how to work with digital citizenship education, AI literacy, tackling disinformation, the work with the families, the practice work with the families and teachers. This work is very rich. I like I want to say that I very inspired with this work, my Professor Victor Tomé. Thank you so much again for your presentation, for your knowledge, and for your presence in this webinar.
Yeah, thank you, Professor Felipe. We have finished the presentation. Now the floor is open for questions and answers contribution. And I will begin with Professor Tomé Victor, who has given us a large view of the practical development of technology in Africa. And I would like to ask him to explain more in which countries are you developing this project and what is the reaction of the teachers you are training there?
Okay, briefly, because I have to go to the train station, but briefly, we are developing, for instance, the AI literacy. We trained journalists, librarians, and teachers in 4 countries: Croatia, Ireland, Portugal, and France. Then we developed different resources, a video game about algorithms, quizzes about algorithms and AI in general, for instance, what is an algorithm and other. These quizzes are available in the 4 languages online. I can share the link with you. Regarding the teacher training on disinformation specifically, we are working in Portugal and Spain, but we train journalists in Brazil, in Angola, Mozambique, São Tomé, Cape Verde, Guinea, and also some other journalists. We are also training public librarians, okay, in Ireland, Spain, and Portugal. And this is a new project. The digital citizenship education. We are working with the 46 countries, but those that are more active are 31 countries. And actually, I'm now, since April 2019, I'm managing this network that is trying to implement digital citizenship education in curricula in 31 countries. This network has now 31 countries and 52 people from these 31 countries in general. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Professor Tomé, for this explanation. Yeah, the floor is open. Professor Felipe, the floor is open. I don't know.
We talk about the conclusions.
Yes.
That's it?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I got some ideas to share with all of you. As the cities in the global south face rising and resilient challenge from economic inequality and digital exclusion, AI, referent AI, and other knowledge. MILCities offer a powerful opportunity to foster inclusive growth by combining artificial intelligence with media and information literacy tools. This powerful mix can empower citizens, local innovation, and create more equitable digital futures for our countries. This discussion is important, and we need to discuss these points now. The global urbanization accelerates, and the need for ethical and accessible and locally grounded tech solutions becomes increasingly urgent. We can change the history, our history, or the human history of our countries with these tools, AI, and media literacy. Thank you for your presence and share your knowledge and expertise with us. We are together. We grow together. Thank you again.
Yeah, thank you, Professor Felipe, for your word. Yeah, it is very important to work together and to put our ideas, our projects together so we can build a new world where everybody has his right to act, to develop. Yeah. I'll give the floor to Dr. Agnes. I don't know if you have a question or yeah. Okay. Okay. We have Dr. Iman who has her hand.
So yeah, it's not a question, but I really appreciate the work done by Mr. Tomei, who already left, but I really appreciate it. And he highlighted the idea of the ethical sides of the AI. And I think it's very important to raise awareness not only about the positive sides of the AI, but also the negative sides of the AI.
Thank you so much for this contribution. It is very appreciated. Yeah. Dr. Sadia, what do you have to share, to add?
Yeah, I want to say thank you to everyone. This is I want to
Oh,
share. It's already 11:30, and I just came back from Hangzhou after a long drive. So I would like to say thank you to every one of you. I got a chance to see Dr. Agnes, I think, for the first time. Professor Arul, normally I'm in touch with him through social media, so it's good to see him. And I'm in touch with Felipe on and off somehow. So, and good to see you. So I really look forward to see you all in the next event. I hope you are efficient to organize it.
thank you so much,
Okay,
Dr.
okay.
Sadia. And we give the floor to Professor Arshivan for his final word.
Yes, every John shared a lot of things about MIL AI driven economy for the South. We want to know the economic aspect, how the private corporates, how they are investing, what is the revenue model, what is the volume of investment, that kind of things also we should know because it will help us to other small cities to implement this AI-driven approach. That's it.
Thank you so much. Yeah, Dr. Agnes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, initially I said I had nothing to add. Again, just want to echo what Dr. Sadia mentioned. Thank you all my colleagues. This was a phenomenal session. I did want to add or ask one thing, and perhaps one or many of you know of such a resource, but considering we're looking for use cases of how AI combined with media informational literacy is affecting the global south from an economic prosperity standpoint. Do you know if there's any existing databases or portals where some of these use cases and projects are loaded so that knowledge sharing can accelerate, right? Dr. Tomei just mentioned what he's doing, and I love the fact that they train librarians and teachers and journalists along the way. And Iman spoke about Tunisia and what was happening there as well. Not to forget Professor Arush Shilvan in about India. So I'm just wondering what is occurring in that space, right? To provide visibility and exposure to some of these different use cases so that if there can be modifications and adaptations, right, we can actually accelerate the broader agenda and be winning together.
Mm. Thank you, Dr. Agnes. The floor is open. Has something to add? It is a question and answer exactly. Okay. So, if we don't have something to do, I will give you a homework. One word to summarize what you have done today. One word. And I will begin with our speaker from Tunisia. Amen. What's your last word? One.
Interesting.
Interesting. Yeah. Your communication was very interesting. Thank you so much for bringing this homely word from Tunisia. And Dr.
Future.
Jamil.
Future.
Yeah, future. Okay. Dr. Sadia?
Delightful.
Delightful. And Dr.
No, I
Agnes?
don't get a chance to see Philip. And of course, I am meeting Agnes first time. So I don't get a chance to see him quite often. So I'm happy to see.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And Dr. Agnes?
Yeah, I would say insightful. It's one of the words that Dr. Satya used, and I think we gleaned a lot of insights from each other as a result. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Professor Felipe, your last word?
Thank you so much, Professor, and to all the colleagues here today. My last word is congratulations and grow together, my friends.
Grow together. We are here to grow together, to work together, and to build a new world where everybody has his role to play. Thank you so much for bringing this warmly a thought and sharing with us. Have a great day, and don't forget, next time you'll be together here to share other thematics, topics about MI and how we can change the world. Thank you so much.
Thank you
you.
so much.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank
It was a
you.
pleasure.
Pleasure.
Thank you, Emmanuel,
Yeah,
Felipe, Agnes,
thank you.
Sadia Jamil.